where we spread love and positive vibes. And I want to start by thanking our subscribers, our new subscribers, our returning subscribers. We really appreciate you. We thank you so much. We don't take it for granted that you take your time to watch our videos. We appreciate so much, and we always tell you we pray for you. May the Lord bless you, may the Lord enlarge you, may the Lord protect you and shield you together with the families. We don't take it for granted, guys. We appreciate a lot. And today I'm going to talk about Africa. And I want to ask a question. What is happening in our continent? What is going on? What is happening, guys, in our continent, Africa? It is so many years since we attained independence. Most of the African countries, by the way, apart from South Africa that got independent the other day, most of the African countries got independent so many years ago. And we are yet to become independent. We are yet to go somewhere. We are yet to prove that we can stand on our own. It is borrowing, debts all over, and those debts are draining us. They are making us slaves. They are making us to suffer. They are making our young people to even lack confidence in us. It has become a point whereby the young feels the old people have not represented them well. They have been missing in action. I think that is the right word to use. And that is what we saw the other day in Kenya. That there was this financial bill that was to go through, and it was actually an oppressive financial bill. It was actually draining the blood of an already drained person. Most of the Kenyans, actually 80% of Kenyans, survive by a mere very little money, $1. Let me talk about $1. They cannot even afford 3 meals in a day. They eat once in a day. Imagine, after all those years of independence, we are supposed to be able to feed our families. We are supposed to be self-sustained in terms of food. We are supposed to be a developed country with its own independent status and a lot of wealth, economically, socially, physically, everything. But where are we today? It is very sad to see most of the African countries languishing in poverty, people dying of poverty, people dying of diseases and famine, where we got independence so many years ago. And when I was looking at different countries in the continent of Africa, I realized that there are some factors that have made us to be where we are. There are some factors that are actually hereditary. They have come from generations to generations, accumulating until they have made us who we are. One of the factors is selfishness. When people rise to power in Africa, they want to accumulate as much wealth as they can so that they can actually be on the same standard with the people they consider to be up there. And therefore, since a person does not come to serve people, they come to serve themselves. That is why we saw the scenario we saw here in the land of Kenya. People who have so self-centered, people who are so self-centered that they don't care whether people are dying of sicknesses and diseases, whether people are dying of poverty and famine. They want to tax it and tax until they drain people, until people become depressed and they cannot take it anymore. And that is why we saw a very brave action. People going through parliament building and breaking the wall and entering in spite of the fact that the police were guarding the parliament. People didn't care whether they are going to die or not, because these people have suffered. They have actually persevered. The problems they are facing are worse than death. And therefore, they preferred to break into parliament and pass their message to the members of parliament that were inside there reading the second reading of the bill and passing it. It was very, very unfortunate, because many people lost their lives. Many children who are young, have the energy to take our country to the next level, died in that mayhem. And mayhem that could have been prevented if we are selfless, if we are there to serve people, if we are there as servant of people. But what happened, dear ones? It is very, very sad. And we want to condole those who lost their loved ones. And we pray the peace of God reigns in your heart. The peace that surpasses human understanding. May it reign in your heart. I've seen women crying. I've seen a lot going on. People suffering in pain. Their friends, their relatives, their daughters, their sons, their friends were shot and killed. Others are in the hospital, actually healing the wounds, the gun wounds that were put onto them. Very, very unfortunate. Africa, arise and try to find out what is eating you. Because I have said, one of the reasons I think Africa is languishing in poverty, diseases and sicknesses is because of selfishness. Very selfish leaders. And Kenya was an example. People are said, I'm not very sure, but we received messages here that some of the members of parliament that said yes were actually given 2 million to say yes. Can you see the level of corruption that is there in our nation? It has taken toll of human dignity. Those are the members we call, what do we call them? Waheshimiwa in Kiswahili. Honored people. But they have ruined themselves to that level because of selfishness. The other factor that I think Africa has reached that far is because we worship the leaders. When the leaders rise to power, we want to worship them. We make them our gods. Every tribe wants their man to go to power because they are worshipped and their tribe is going to be rooked into well. And therefore, this leadership divides us into tribal lines. So that is the other factor that has contributed to what we are seeing in Africa. Like in Kenya, the fact that people are treated like gods, and not in Kenya, by the way, because I know Uganda, I know Rwanda, I know Tanzania, I know all African countries. Actually, I saw Nigerians saying their leaders cannot be touched. They are small gods, and they are praised because of the wealth they have accumulated through corruption, through oppressing people, through putting people down, and then they go rising and rising. So the difference between the rich and the poor, the gap is so wide because people accumulate through stealing. It's not the salaries they get as members of parliament, as governors, as senators, as MCAs, as women rep. It is the amount of bribes they get. I heard somewhere that a woman who is representing us in the women lab actually bribes, goes and surprises in schools, and she threatens the principals in those schools so that they don't say she has actually supplied things in the school and hikes the prices, and she wants you to take those goods, and you cannot say no because they are treated like gods. Because you are supposed to say no as a principal. Because whether she's the head of the government or she's the women rep in your county, it does not mean she interferes with the education system, the schools, the hospitals. There is stealing of drugs, stealing of medicine. All those shenanigans that are done in Africa have actually brought us where we are. Because of self-centeredness, because of competition, people competing with each other in terms of health, wealth, in terms of the vehicles they drive, in terms of the houses they live. I've seen this competition, guys, even in the church. People compete for the kind of car you are driving, the kind of house you are living in, the kind of clothes you wear. It has gone to the church. So the churches are no longer spiritual. They have gone to an extent of actually dividing people according to how much they can actually give so that they can keep the standard of life that will be respected by the society. Because the societies in Africa, they value what somebody has than valuing the morals. We don't value the morals of people. We value what they have more. And sometimes I don't think we ever are, because we have seen so many countries, the developed countries, they don't care whether you are rich. They don't care whether you are the president. When you do something wrong, you are punished for the wrongdoing. We saw Donald Trump being tried for the things he did when he was actually campaigning and when he was the president. Can this happen in Africa? People have become small gods. People want to be worshipped. People don't care what the others are actually going through. This kind of selfishness and this kind of treatment of leaders like gods has actually brought Africa where we are. The other thing that I think has contributed to our drawback in Africa is tribalism, nepotism, what can I say, competition. Your village mate is actually jealous of you. They don't want you to move. And we have had so many cases, especially here in Kenya, where you are bewitched. There is a lot of witchcraft in some parts of Kenya. So if you actually are seen to be doing very well, people practice witchcraft on you. I had another woman we actually work with talking about she cannot visit her village in a good car, in good clothes, because you'll be bewitched. There is a lot of competition, there is a lot of jealousy, there is a lot of envy, and that is why we are where we are as Africans, because we don't uplift the lives of others. We don't celebrate the success of others. We try to bring them down. And we have seen Jamaica. That is a very, very good example to us, that they support their own. They want to uplift the standards of their people. They want to congratulate their people and embrace them as they rise up the ladder. They even go to an extent of actually playing their own music so that they can support the artist. They don't just sit down and wait for the nature to uplift the people in their country. They help them up the ladder. And when I shoot a video about Jamaicans who are successful, you see people come in the comment section and they tell you of others that are successful without jealousy, and you can see the kind of appreciation these people have on their own people succeeding. The kind of happiness they are when they see one of them succeeding. But come to Africa. When one person succeeds, they want to do everything they can to bring them down. Look at Dee. I was watching another video of this lady called Amkalo. And Dee just told us the other day that she has won a visa to go to a very, very important country. And she actually went ahead and said she doesn't want to be hosted because she dreads being hosted, because the people who are hosting her will later talk about her. And most of the people who host us are actually Africans. Maybe. I'm just saying, I don't know. And therefore, when they host you, when you leave their homes, they want to talk about you. And this woman called Carol came with a lot of bitterness, with a lot of anger, and wonder, why are you bitter? Why are you angry at someone you don't know? Why do you have to actually jeer? Because she was jeering Dee and saying, she was saying, nye, 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 I will not be hosted. Yeah? This woman can be another thing. So I wondered, why do people actually want to pull others down? Why are we so jealous of one another? Why do we compete with one another? Why don't we clap to our African brothers and sisters as they climb up the ladder? Any person that is in social media and is seen to be going up there is attacked, cyberbullied, and talked about, and they want to bring them down. We have seen it clearly with Dee, and I have seen other YouTubers in Kenya being attacked and brought down until you cannot talk anymore. This is the kind of things that are happening in Africa. A lot of competition and a lot of jealousy. So this woman came and actually went ahead and said that Dee is refusing to be hosted because she's going to USA and she has a boyfriend in USA, and this boyfriend is actually the one who is meant to host her. And I wondered, there is nowhere in the video that Dee told us she was going to America. She actually told us to guess. And this woman already has concluded that the Mwango is going to America, and she has a boyfriend who is going to host her. And therefore, that is why she's saying she doesn't want to be hosted. The Mwango herself explained clearly why she's dreading being hosted by people. Because even me, if people hosted me and they later talked about me, I'd feel the same thing because we are human. But the Mwango also went ahead and praised Esther, who has been her host from the time she entered Jamaica the second time. And Esther has proved to be mature, to be a good host, to be a good person, to be kind-hearted, and to actually be very patient with the visitors that visit her. The other day we saw that there were several people in her house. The Mwango, Shonarwa, Coco Girl, people come to her house and she's able to accommodate them. She's able to actually take them to places and she actually make them feel at home. We saw Coco Girl actually refusing to sleep in the bedroom she was given because Esther prefers to sleep in a worse situation than the visitors. You can see the kind of people Jamaicans are. They can embrace someone, love someone unconditionally and support them. But look at Africa. Where did we go wrong? So this lady and Carol really attacked the Mwango, and I wondered, why is this lady so bitter? And actually in the comment section, there were so many people attacking her, and with a lot of bitterness, with a lot of anger. And some of these people have never met the Mwango. They have never seen her. They have never interacted with her. But they just listened to what he said, and they carry it, and they continue hating on people and actually talking so badly about these people. This story of jam tours has been talked to for too long. This lady yet again brought the story of jam tours. And I wondered if jam tour really is taking the Mwango to court, he would have done it long time ago. Why keep on repeating the same thing and you are not telling us what is happening? So I found that Africans are very, very good at bringing others down. There is this story, this couple that went to Nyambo Hansen, I am Marwa Sivira, and they were called Vinn and, is it Lynn, the other person? One is a white, the boy is an African, actually a Kenyan, called Vinn. And it is said that they met in town in Nairobi, and they fell in love and they married. After marriage, they actually started a YouTube channel that has been doing very, very well. And therefore, after that channel, the lady said the lady was a Germany. And therefore, she said she has stayed in Kenya for quite some time and she has not actually seen the family. So she begged to go and see the family. And the minute that lady left the airport and went to Germany, people started talking about their divorce, their separation, that Vinn has been left, a lot of things, and this talking has actually contributed to these two divorcing. I don't know whether the divorce is complete, but I'm sure they're in a very bad position. And the worst of all is that the people of Kenya, the people of Africa are actually attacking Vinn. Vinn is an African, a Kenyan. The other lady, actually the wife, because they had already gotten married, is a German. And people have given this boy a lot of stress, a lot of depression, a lot of shenanigans, talking everything, saying that he's the one who made the marriage to collapse because he was supporting the family. He had built a house for the dad. He had done what? A lot of talks. And this boy cannot take it anymore. The last video I saw him shooting, he was saying he's drained. He never imagined social media would be like that. People come in arms to attack you and they don't know you. They have never interacted with you. They take sides even when they don't know what really happened to that marriage, what really happened between these two, what really happened. Because when I was looking at that lady, she was actually supporting this guy to build for their father. And in Africa, we have been brought up in different societies, different cultures, and we have to accept those cultures when we come to get married there. So the German lady had already accepted the culture and she was already willing the house to be built. And actually she took Vinn to their village to construct that house. But now people come and changes the situation or changes the story and says that Vinny was left because he was taking all the money to the relatives, to the family, to the parents, and therefore this woman felt, maybe, according to people, that this is too much. None of us knows what conspired between these two. None of us knows whether when this lady arrived in Germany, the parents refused the marriage because it's a marriage between a white and a black. Or maybe the parents didn't refuse, but the girl felt maybe she has her own reasons why she's not coming back. And maybe she's planning to come back with the time. But the things we are talking can make this marriage fail. Let us run to embrace one another. Let us support each other in times of need. And I want to appreciate Jamaican people because when we were crying, when we were in pain, when we were losing people through the protest and through the police brutality, the celebrities in Jamaica came up in arms to support us and to tell us they are ready to assist us in any way. I saw several celebrities of Jamaica actually standing with us and telling us they actually are proud of us and we should actually be safe. They actually told us to be safe, but to fight for our rights. And I really appreciate the Jamaican celebrities who came out. Some cancelled their shows that were to happen here in the country so that they can be in solidarity with the Kenyans who are suffering. And we appreciate that a lot. Why don't we embrace each other as Africa? We see Ugandans telling us they are sorry. Tanzanians, Nigerians, Ghana, Burundi, Rwanda, South Africa, all these countries in Africa coming together and telling us, Kenyans, you are doing okay. And when we join hands as Africans, we can go far. We saw our Kenyan brothers and sisters, and even I think our African brothers and sisters, some of them, going to demonstrate in the diaspora countries they are in. We saw demonstrations in America, we saw demonstrations in Netherlands, ICC, we saw demonstrations in New Zealand, we saw demonstrations in Germany. People were in solidarity with what was happening in our country. And this is the unity we are talking about. This is the love we are talking about. United we stand, divided we fall. Why don't we support each other? Coming against this boy called Vinn, attacking him, making him to be depressed, making him to be stressed. You don't solve his problem. You don't change him. But you can call him and tell him, maybe you failed in your marriage because of this and this. But coming to abuse people in social media, coming to actually cyberbully people in social media is not called for. And those that are doing it, I tell you the truth, even if you get those views, even if you get those subscribers, even if your channels go to which level, you will pay dear for that. Because it's wrong. It's not right to abuse each other, to abuse people, to actually spread lies and try to pull people down. That has been the work of some of the Africans, to pull each other down. And I think that has contributed to Africa to be where we are. If we were united, if we supported one another, if we were selfless, if we were ready to be servants of the people as leaders, if we were elected and know the purpose that brought us in that parliament, in that senate, we can go to greater heights of prosperity and accountability. But this selfishness must stop. The competition must stop. The envy and jealousy must stop. Everything that brings African down must stop, and we embrace each other, we support each other to climb the ladder, to be where God had destined us to be. But when we keep on fighting each other, when we keep on competing with each other, when we keep on feeling jealousy and envy on one another, there is nowhere we are going. These young people that were fighting in Kenya taught us a lesson. Everybody in Africa, if you never learned a lesson this time, you will never learn. They taught us there is power in unity. These young men combined together, they planned their things, and they went to the streets, demonstrated, went together, broke into parliament because they were united. They were working towards the same goal, the same vision, the same destiny. And through their hard work, through their unity, through their love for their country, through their love for one another, through their love to their sisters and brothers and their children to come, they stood and said, we are not going to allow Kenya to go in the direction it is going. And they went against the whole government and the whole members of parliament. And they stood on their ground. Many of them lost their lives. But we are going to remember them as heroes. We are going to remember them as the people who liberated this country the second time. The independence from oppressors. The independence from selfish leaders. The independence from people who don't care about us. This is the new Kenya, the new dawn for Africa. These people have taught us that everything is possible when we unite. And not even them, our freedom fighters, they taught us where there is unity, you can achieve much. It doesn't matter the other side how equipped they are. And I was talking about Jamaica and Nana and the Maroons, what they did, the Windward group. They were few, didn't have sophisticated weapons, they were actually unarmed, they were having just machetes, but they defeated the people who are against their freedom, the people who are carrying them like slaves, and they stood firm and won the battle because of unity. Why don't we unite and become selfless? Why don't we unite and embrace one another? Why don't we unite and finish every bit of corruption in our countries? Why don't we stand and build an Africa that is going to be strong, that is going to be independent, that is going to be food sustainable? Every person in the continent of Africa will never sleep hungry. That is the Africa we desire. That is the Kenya we desire. Where no one sleeps hungry, where no one dies because of lack of medicine and proper health care. Let us be our brothers and sisters keeper. Let us not feed ourselves and accumulate a lot of wealth to ourselves. And when we die, this wealth is vanity. It is destroyed by our children. But when you touch a soul, when you help one person, when you become a good leader, everyone will remember you. Everyone will embrace you. Everyone will talk about you. We have remembered very many leaders who are selfless. And you can also be a hero sometimes to come when you embrace love and unity. So, my conclusion is, why don't we run away from all those things that are destroying us, and we stand firm, and we stand united, and we love one another to be the Africa continent we all desire. Guys, that will be the end of my video. See you during the next video, and God bless.